Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're exploring one of the most fascinating historical sites in Azerbaijan, the Ateshgah Fire Temple. But before we get there, let's hit the road and experience the drive through Baku's highways. It's a bright and fresh morning as we cruise along Baku's smooth, well-maintained roads. The morning sun reflects off the towering glass skyscrapers, creating a golden shimmer that contrasts beautifully with the neatly landscaped parks and tree-lined avenues. The roads are wide and perfectly paved, making the drive effortless. Every lane is well-marked, traffic flows smoothly, and pedestrian walkways are pristine. The city's attention to cleanliness and organization is remarkable. No litter, no clutter, just a beautifully planned urban space waking up to a new day. The air feels fresh, and the early morning calm gives us the perfect opportunity to appreciate the elegance and efficiency of Baku's infrastructure. Our destination today is the Ateshgah Fire Temple, also known as the Temple of Eternal Fire. Located in Surakani, about 30 kilometers from Baku, this sacred site has been a place of worship for centuries, attracting followers of Hinduism, Sikhism, and Zoroastrianism. It's a place where faith, fire, and history come together, creating an atmosphere unlike any other. After a short drive, we arrive at the Ateshgah Fire Temple. The first thing that stands out is its fortress-like appearance, high stone walls enclosing an ancient structure steeped in history. As we step inside, there's an immediate sense of something special. The worn stone pathways beneath our feet have been walked by countless pilgrims, traders, and travelers over the centuries. It's as if the walls themselves hold the echoes of their prayers and stories. As we approach the entrance of Ateshgah, the first thing that stands out is its imposing stone gateway. Built from weathered beige limestone, the entrance has a fortress-like appearance, hinting at the centuries of history held within. Above the arched doorway, ancient inscriptions and symbols are etched into the stone, giving a glimpse into the spiritual significance of this sacred site. The massive wooden doors, reinforced with iron, look like they've stood the test of time, welcoming travelers and pilgrims for generations. As we step inside, the air feels different, calm, reverent, almost as if the temple itself holds echoes of prayers from the past. The soft crunch of gravel beneath our feet and the distant flicker of firelight inside create an atmosphere that transports us back in time, setting the stage for an unforgettable journey into. Let's go through the temple corridors. As we step inside, a cool hush fills the air, and our footsteps echo against the ancient stone walls. Sunlight streams through arched windows, casting golden patterns on inscriptions in Sanskrit and Persian, silent echoes of devotion and trade. The passageways, worn smooth over centuries, lead us deeper, where the scent of aged stone and faint traces of burnt offerings seem to preserve the prayers of the past. As we explore, we come across a series of chambers, once humble resting places for Hindu and Sikh merchants traveling along the fabled Silk Road. These traders, who journeyed across vast deserts and mountains, found solace within these stone enclosures. Today, these rooms have been transformed into exhibits, each one offering a window into the temple's incredible history. Ancient oil lamps, prayer beads, and weathered maps tell the story of a time when faith and commerce intertwined, bringing people from distant lands to this sacred site. As we step into each chamber, we get a glimpse of life at Ateshgah centuries ago. These stone rooms, once filled with activity, tell silent stories of the people who passed through them. Some chambers served as resting places for weary travelers and merchants journeying along the Silk Road, while others were dedicated to worship, meditation, and sacred rituals. Stepping into the meditation chamber, the atmosphere shifts. There's an undeniable stillness in the air. This small, dimly lit room once served as a retreat for monks and seekers, a space where they sat in deep contemplation, connecting with the divine. The thick stone walls mute the outside world, creating a sanctuary of silence. Here, the flickering glow of oil lamps once cast dancing shadows as prayers were whispered into the air. The energy of centuries-old devotion lingers, making it easy to imagine the spiritual journeys that unfolded within these walls. This chamber offers a glimpse into the daily lives of the merchants and travelers who once stopped here on their long journeys. In one corner, a man tends to his donkeys. These sturdy animals were essential companions, carrying heavy loads of spices, textiles, and precious goods along the Silk Road. Nearby, two merchants sit cross-legged, sharing a simple meal, their faces weathered by the harsh conditions of travel. This room would have been a place of rest and conversation, where travelers exchanged stories, discussed trade, and found brief moments of comfort before continuing their journey. The flickering firelight would have cast a warm glow on the stone walls, making this space feel like a temporary home for those constantly on the move. In this somber chamber, a man sits in chains, a symbol of endurance and sacrifice. Whether a prisoner, an ascetic practicing extreme devotion, or an outcast seeking redemption, his presence reflects the hardships faced by some within these walls. The cold stone, the heavy iron shackles, and the dim light create a haunting atmosphere, reminding us of the untold struggles endured in this sacred space. This chamber features a finely crafted Nataraja sculpture, a representation of dance and time in Hindu tradition. The intricate details reflect the artistry and cultural influences that once flourished here. Ateshgah's connection to Hindu merchants and travelers is evident in such depictions, adding another layer to its rich historical tapestry. In this chamber, a man blows into a pipe-like tool, possibly stoking a fire or aiding in a ritual, while another lies on the ground, appearing weak or unwell. This scene may depict ancient healing practices where fire, air, and manual techniques played a role in treatments. It could also represent a purification ritual or a craft essential to daily life at Ateshgah. The presence of both figures hints at the many roles this space once served, whether as a place of recovery, work, or spiritual practice. In this chamber, a man sits beside a small pit, placing a fruit inside. This act may represent an offering, possibly linked to fire worship or a traditional ritual. Such practices were common in Ateshgah, reflecting the customs and beliefs of those who once lived here. This chamber displays a collection of old items and clothing, providing insight into the lives of those who once lived and traveled through Ateshgah. These artifacts may have belonged to merchants, pilgrims, or temple caretakers, each piece telling a silent story of the past. From worn fabrics to everyday tools, everything here reflects the customs and way of life in this historic site. Finally, we reach the heart of Ateshgah, the central fire altar. This open stone pavilion, supported by sturdy pillars, once held a natural flame that burned continuously for centuries. Standing before the fire, we can only imagine the countless prayers and rituals that took place here. The flickering flames cast soft shadows on the walls, creating an almost hypnotic effect. The silence around us, broken only by the sound of the wind, adds to the mystical aura of this sacred place. Standing here, it's easy to understand why fire was so revered. It symbolized purity, transformation, and an eternal connection to the divine. Ateshgah remains a powerful reminder of Azerbaijan's multicultural past, where different faiths and traditions coexisted in harmony. As we step out of Ateshgah, the late morning sun is shining, but the crisp February air reminds us that winter still lingers. Despite the sunlight, the breeze is sharp, and the chill seeps through, making the warmth of the temple fire feel even more comforting. After stepping out of Ateshgah, we wandered into the nearby souvenir shops, each offering a glimpse into Azerbaijan's rich heritage. The shelves were lined with beautifully handcrafted items, miniature Fire Temple replicas, traditional Azerbaijani ceramics, and intricately designed carpets. Some shops displayed old coins, postcards, and books that narrated the region's history, while others had spices and fragrances that carried the essence of the Silk Road. Among the most eye-catching souvenirs were the decorative oil lamps and fire-themed ornaments, symbolizing the eternal flames of Ateshgah. Every item seemed to hold a story, a connection to the past, making it more than just a keepsake, but a tangible piece of history to take home. Visiting Ateshgah feels like stepping back in time, experiencing a piece of history that still burns bright today. If you're ever in Baku, this is a place you simply cannot miss. Stay tuned as we explore more incredible places in Azerbaijan. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more travel adventures.